months been like for you and the team?
Work, a lot of good work, a lot of good leadership. Those guys have taken it upon themselves to do a lot of extra things, not just football driven, but for or to enhance our football process. Those are the best teams. At the end of the day, the players are the ones that make it happen. They started from January. They collectively had done it, sometimes 6 and 7 days a week outside of the required activity, and I give them a ton of credit. A lot of times we want instant gratification because of it. We're going to work through spring, get through summer, and then put those things in motion of fall. But taking great strides and building a better foundation than we did, going into 2022.
I'm sure this is the time where a lot of guys are sort of beefing up in the gym, hitting the weights. Is there any people that really stand out to you over the last few months that really have put on some muscle?
Not me. I usually try to stay away from those individual. I like to let spring and summer and fall camp kind of play out. I think collectively, most of the time, you're trying to put weight on guys. Some guys are trying to maintain the weight they have, and believe it or not, guys like me, we got to reduce the weight we have. So it's kind of a three-tiered approach. Coach Groneman's done a great job in there. We focused on lifting, less cardio, and more of the physical element of pushing weight, staying on platforms, again, 4 and 5 times a week, mixed with some what we call winter conditioning, if you will, but try to develop some competitive juices in the football landscape without a football in our hands, per the NC2A rules. But this is exciting. We got some new faces that are out here in spring before we get to the new faces in the fall with high school class we signed. So it'll be 14 practices of not getting to know each other, because we've done that a fair amount through the first 3 months of this year.
First practice, what are you looking for, Coach?
To the next one to get helmets, and then the next one to get in full. Football's played in pads, but it is the acclimatization piece to it. Looking for those guys to have high activity. It's always interesting, and no matter what year it is, no matter what season it is, spring or fall, those first couple practices, everybody's ready to go. In actuality, looking into 4, 5, and 6 when we get there is how are we treating our bodies? How well did we prepare the last 3 months? Plays being made. We got to be more explosive on both sides of the ball, and to be explosive, you got to be out there. And we missed too much time with some nagging injuries last year with some guys, and so I think we did a good job of take care of our bodies in the winter, but really looking forward to getting out, getting acclimated with the first 2 days with helmets only, and then playing real football when we get to Monday and beyond. So it'll be high energy. To me, the challenge is where you at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 14 days over a month is about 2 weeks when you come to August. So we're condensing 2 weeks over or enhancing 2 weeks over a month in spring. So they'll be able to bounce back on Tuesdays, Thursdays with their off days, and bring that energy back up over time. And I'm excited about that quarterback position. Positionally speaking, I think it'll be fun to see Keikoa take on more responsibility this year to enhance his play. I know he had a hell of a game the last game out here on the field in the fall against Northern Colorado, and then those 2 quarterbacks we brought in, Jared and Mike, to push Keikoa to get reps, to see how they develop with the running backs, tight ends, and wide receiver core. So that position probably is going to be more fun to watch, to see those guys grow, because 2 of those guys just got on campus a couple months ago.
6 returners on offense, 8 on defense. Does it give you a little bit more optimism, or I guess good feelings, knowing that you got a lot of experience coming back?
It does, but again, like we always talk about this every single year, we'll answer the same way in the fall. We're a year older. Doesn't always mean we're a year better. It just means we're a year more experienced. We've done it for longer periods of time, some of us. Doesn't always mean you're better, and that's why we practice, to see kind of where we've taken strides from December until April, and then we'll see what strides we take from May until August. And so, but it does help that 2/3 of your starting lineup's back. But we were a 3-8 team, and it's who we were. It's not what we intend to become, but we were 3-8 with 14 starters coming back, and you do what you want with that. But we need better, more consistent play out of anybody, whether it's starters or non-starters. So here's the first step today.
I know you're an offensive line guy. Let's talk
Easy,
a little bit
easy.
about the
Don't
line.
be so loud with that.
Tell me a little bit about what position battles, or I guess what are you excited for to see from those guys?
I would say, before we get into any battles, we got to be more edgy as a team. and it starts with those guys on the offensive side, in my mind. How can we play with a defensive mentality on the offensive side of the ball? And it starts with those guys with their hand down. You got to have some edge to you. Play between the lines, play within the lines, but you got to push the limits. And we got to do that at that position to start out with. I think in pockets we did it and have done it, but we got to get back to our old offensive line ways and not be pushing around, do the pushing around, and do it the right way. So I think that comes with enhancements in the off season. It'll come with some new faces and some new personalities on the offensive line. Because if you love to do what you do, you'll push the limits to do it. So I'm excited to see where those guys go. Starting lineups aren't created in the spring, so we'll jumble some guys around. But we've got to develop more of an edgy mentality in everything we do, and it starts up front on offense.
Do you like those? You talked about it a little bit, but those new NCAA rules of the practices and only 3 a week. I just wondering your thoughts on those.
We'd be here for a while, but we get what we can do, and then we determine how we're going to do it. Starting out, I think it's good. Everybody's excited to get going, so I think it is a good way to start things out with helmets only. Get some timing down. You don't need to bang right away. These guys have been off the gridiron for a long time. And so I think it's good. The interesting piece is we'll come back tomorrow and practice from 10 to 12, and then we'll throw on the pads on Monday. So it'll be three practices in 4 days. It'll be different than what we've done over the last 3 months. So getting our bodies ready and able and be able to be flexible practice-wise if we got guys down to be able to kind of tweak and change things up to make sure we get the most out of our practices with our kids. But we do what we can with what we have, and we'll end on Friday with a spring game, but we got a lot of work to do before then. Sound good?
For me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.